Yes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 2 of the new podcast for the Wrestling for Life Network, Let's Rumble. I am your host, Will. I am along with everyone's favorite host to this side of me, KJ White. And if you haven't been here before, which I bet most of you have, this is the podcast where we go over the best topics of professional wrestling and we go and debate, agree, or just give our opinions essentially. Fans can do that as well. As you see, our newest addition, Ali, says, let's get ready to rumble live.
Nice.
Good introduction there. So, KJ, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How you doing on this fine Saturday morning and ready to just tackle some topics? Hopefully people are up, having their coffee, having a little bit of breakfast or brunch and ready to kick it with us and let us know we're going to, tackle some issues. So, I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a good time as we always do. And people at
Yes.
home, feel free to chime in and let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, and just letting you guys know a couple of minutes or maybe even hours after this episode is done streaming live on YouTube, it will be on Spotify, Apple Music as well.
Love it.
So if you have any of those apps, you could also listen to us there. Or if you can't, be sure to subscribe to the Wrestling for Life Network on YouTube. We just surpassed 120 subscribers, so thank you all. And we can't appreciate it anymore.
No, man. It's amazing that we're rolling along and fun to bring all this new content. Obviously, we'll be back tonight for a special edition of the Watch Party. We're going to do the Windy City Riot and the Battle of the Belts tonight. Thumbnail below if you haven't seen it yet. And then we're back tomorrow for the weekly power rankings, Will, which we have fun doing as well.
Yeah, it's always fun doing these. So, without further ado, let's tackle our first topic there.
What are we going to start with? Dome. Ooh.
Oh, the end of the brand split. Do you think that this is possible? And with the champions unifications between the world and the tag team titles, what do you think?
Yeah. Um, Sorry, there was some ruckus in my background.
Oh, good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it looks that way. Now, are they going to just do this temporarily and then like find a way to go back to having two separate champions? I really hope not. I really hope that this is an indication of the brand split coming to an end. I think WrestleMania showed us that when you bring them all together and you have the nights, like even the Rumble where we had not Rumble, Raw before Mania, where you get Roman and Seth and KO and then Lashley, and you got all this talent. But when you do load up the show, it's highly entertaining. It's a good show.
Yeah.
The brand split, they're too thin, they're too watered down. They don't have enough people.
Yeah, exactly. And that sort of brings up the point where it's like the people on SmackDown, they don't have the credibility to really beat Roman Reigns. Now, some people on Raw, on the other hand, could. AJ, Seth, KO, maybe, um, Bobby. Like
Mhm.
those could be good challengers for Roman Reigns. And the match that was announced yesterday on SmackDown that RK Bro will take on the Usos to unify the tag team championships. And that's another big thing of criticism is that the tag teams in WWE have been kind of thin and not much competition. And yeah, they really need to improve that. And also, if you unify the world and the tag team titles, that could give the IC and US championships time to shine as well, since they
Mhm.
should stay separate, but they should have more credibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's about credibility at this point. I mean, the team division, and that's where, like, if we reduce the brand split and get some actual teams in here, the tag team division is a farce. It is bad. Um,
Yes.
who's really putting on good tag team matches? People can say, "Oh, well, we like RK Bro," but we're not. They're not like blowing us away with, "Oh, look at this amazing tag team." Like they're all right. They've done well. Randy Orton's made the best of it. Riddle, I mean, has grown on me.
Yeah.
He can work in the ring, but I don't know, man. It's a struggle for me. with all like look at the Viking Raiders and how garbage they look right now.
You look at Los Lotharios just kissing
Yeah,
people and then losing. Yeah.
right. Like they both beat the IC title champion in one night, then lost the triple threat, and then lost the next 2 weeks as a tag team again.
Yeah. So there's just no credibility left for Los Lotharios. And speaking of champions, the U.S. champion Finn Balor has just lost to Austin. Well, now just Theory. Uh, more times than we can count, most likely.
It's a tough spot for Mr. Finn Balor. Like, I mean, how many times now have we seen him just straight up lose?
Yeah, and it's a trend as well, like with the women's tag team champions, US champion, IC champion. WWE really likes making their champions lose, and hopefully, back on topic, the end of the brand split could make champions time to shine even more, or maybe have them wrestle less and just for pay-per-view events, like with Roman Reigns or with Ricochet or with most of these people.
Yeah, I mean, you have the opportunity there with guys like Ricochet and Finn, and I mean, there's a list of middle card talent that just isn't utilized. There's nothing for them. Like the poor Sheamus, and like I said, you used to do that. You used to count how many weeks in a row we were getting Sheamus versus whoever, right?
It was like
Sheamus versus Cesaro.
15 weeks. Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
insane.
but now if you book Sheamus the same way, that consistent, but gave him a better angle, not just these one-off pouty. Oh, I'm mad at you this week. Now I'm mad at you this week. Now I'm mad at you this week, and then all of a sudden now I'm mad at you, and I got to hold back my little dog Butch.
Yeah, that's
So that's what's lacking in any of that mid card is just it's not there's no depth to it.
yeah,
It's hard to care.
it's really hard to care. And Nick, one of our viewers, just chimed in and said, "I don't think so about the end of the brand split because you have two different TV networks with Fox and USA involved, and
Mhm.
Fox has definitely requested certain stars to be on their network. For example, Roman, Brock, Ronda." I mean, yeah, you could bring up that point, but also both networks can benefit by having both of those stars on both shows, in my opinion, at least. You could
Mhm.
have Roman on Raw and SmackDown, Brock same way, Ronda. Well, not much people care about Ronda anyways, but
Well,
that's a
that's
story for
not
another day.
exactly true. I just don't like her.
Yeah, well, she's had some criticism here and there online, but
Absolutely.
yeah, if you wanna you both networks can sort of benefit if the brand split ended. But yeah, I mean, it's not like Roman's just gonna be Foxes and Foxes now because Roman's appeared on Raw and USA all the time. So
Yeah.
you can't really bring up that point because both networks have had both stars a couple of
Mhm.
times now for the past number of weeks. It's like the wild card rule, except everyone's free.
Yeah, it's kind of just like this loose, forbidden. It's kind of like one of those like old timey bar doors, right? Just swinging. Not quite a forbidden door, but they're just kind of in and out as they see fit. And Nick's point is valid, but I thought about this a lot because when the topic of brand split first came up, a lot of times I would get to this point as well and go, I don't know. But for me, I think at the end of the day, if they're putting on a better product, if they're delivering a better show on both brands, if they're able to gain interest, that it's mutually beneficial to Fox and USA to see. And again, maybe there's certain people that only appear on Fridays, and when they do appear on Mondays, it's special. But overall, I think that if it's better for business, if it's going to bring more eyes to your network, which ultimately that's what you're hoping for, um, I think the options there to strengthen both shows and share and work together. I mean, you don't really have to do much, but yeah, to your point, they're kind of doing it already.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh my god, the networks are gonna both fall from this because they're already kind of doing it. They already have both stars like on both shows or something like that. So
Mhm.
Yeah, they're already sharing, so there's really no point. Just end the split, and then both networks get what they want. They could have Roman one day, they could have him the other day, and just end the split. Have more stars, have more decent matches. Yeah, see, sharing is caring. Lesson of the day, and yeah, at the end of the day, just end the brand split. If you're just gonna have these unification matches, let's not have it be two championships now. Just have it be one.
Hmm. And I said for a long time, Will, like go if you go one champion at the top of the heap that doesn't fight on free TV very often. When you see Roman on TV, if he's the one champion, it's to build an angle with the next challenger kind of thing. That's your opportunity to put the IC belt, the US title, the tag titles in main event spots and make their titles matter and have them have good matches for those titles. Again, sometimes you can kind of back off the tag teams as well and make it kind of, ooh, they're actually going to wrestle tonight. And you give the belts importance again. You make the belts matter. So therefore, each kind of night, there's something happening that's exciting, that matters. The way it is now, or there's so many belts, it doesn't really matter. Like, who gives a shit about a lot of these matches? Unify as many belts as you can. Have a belt should be special, shouldn't be a
Yeah.
participation medal.
Yeah, and that's sort of what we've kind of been saying. Like, it seems like a participation medal with how many championships there are, how many champions wrestle a night, and essentially, it's like the only time you'll ever get to wrestle on free TV now is if you're a belt or you're a if you have a belt or you're a challenger for a belt.
Mhm.
So
Fair
it's
enough.
it yeah, it's really quite a shame because there's a lot more stars that should shine. For example, Mustafa Ali, um, a lot of these people, Omos probably could on SmackDown, or Veer Mahan, Rey Mysterio. A lot of these people.
Right. Speaking of your Mahan, here's one of the topics on the list.
Yeah. Veer, who cares? That's our second topic because for months now, we've had Veer Mahan just sort of get these vignettes. He's coming to Raw. He's coming to Raw. He's coming to Raw. And it's just like when he finally does, he's beating the hell out of a 5 foot legend and his mullet wearing kid. And it's like
His mullet wearing kid.
he's like, wow, so dominating.
Well, uh, you don't think it sells the fact that he's a big bad beast, that he's just going to jump on everybody and now he's
No.
going to Roman watch your back? That's not what they're telling us.
If you want to have a Roman watch your back, just have him face, I don't know, Omos or Bobby
Hmm.
Lashley or someone like that, or maybe AJ Styles or something like that. Have him face a dominating competitor, and not, because here's my thing, like every new person that has come to Raw or something like that, or so you know what I'm saying. They've been
Yep.
facing Ray and Dominic Mysterio, and it's
Yep.
just like they're kind of like the gatekeepers, like what Cody used to say.
Hmm.
Like he's the gatekeeper. Every new person who wants a feud, it's been with the Mysterios.
Hmm.
Like let's take Logan Paul for example. Who was the first person he faced? The Mysterios, right? Veer
True.
Mahan was
True.
the first person he faced. The Mysterios. So it's really hard to get behind someone when the two people he's facing are normally at the losing side of things, whatever feud they're in. For example, the Usos, Miz and Logan Paul, and now Veer Mahan.
Yeah. No. I mean, here's the thing: whether they meant to or not, the Veer vignettes created a lot of buzz. Became a gag. It became a meme. It was funny.
Yeah.
People were talking about Veer. People were talking about Veer. So you ended up making such a big deal about his arrival. You imagine it was going to be a big one in some way, shape, or form. You know, uh, even if it was taking out somebody with a belt, maybe it was, Damian Priest still was the U.S. title, and he went after Damian. And make an impact, go after some gold right away. But and again, here is Dominic Mysterio loses in 30 seconds to Miz. Well, Miz beat him in 30 seconds. What is this guy going to do to him? And why is this guy coming out and deciding now to just beat up on two guys that are one was just smashed and it is out of his depth in every shape or form, and his father. I don't get it. Just kills
Yeah.
the whole buzz.
Yeah, so and his promo skills need work too. Like, remember after he beat Dominic on Monday, he was just like, "I am Veer. I destroy people." Wow, okay, Ryback, let's go. You destroy people.
Right? My lighting messing with my head today. There you go.
I think it became too much of a meme for it to be taken seriously at this point. This is by Nick, by the way. Shout out to Nick on our YouTube channel. If we didn't have months of Veer somehow showing up, you could have it look serious versus just someone who needs a GPS.
Right?
Yeah, it's like that one uncle who you haven't seen in 10 years. It's just like, oh, sorry, I would have talked to you sooner, but I just didn't know my way around the neighborhood.
Right. I mean, look, I kind of disagree in the sense that the meme thing kind of happened. So if you're smart, if you're paying attention, if I was a writer on the creative team, I'd be using this now, right? I'd make it funny. I'd start tweeting out pictures of Veer at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or Veer at the at Rogers Center, Veer,
Eiffel Tower,
in New York, the Eiffel Tower. Let's like everywhere. Like, let's just put them in places.
Mount
The Statue
Rushmore.
of Liberty. Like, start messing with people. Make it kind of a thing, but that kind of takes away from me wanting him to be kind of a big badass the way they build him. But at the same time, it got over. People were looking forward to it. Why would he not come out and kick Bobby Lashley in the face? Why would he not come out and kick Omos in the face?
Yes.
Why would he not come out and make a statement where everybody in that arena and everybody at home were like, oh shit, this guy is legit. He's showing up and he means business. Watch out. Like,
Yeah, and not only that, like, we already had like a return or debut earlier on in that night with good old Elias's younger brother Ezekiel. So it's just like we already had to digest the fact that this guy has a new gimmick and he looks weird. And then here's Veer Mahan. It's just like, oh, okay, this guy's here. Cool.
Right. I found that's a very valid point. I thought because of what happened with Ezekiel, having Veer debut in the next segment, everybody was still talking about Ezekiel. Nobody was really dialed into. It was very like poof. It was like the explosion in the exploding ring match.
Yeah, it was underwhelming.
It's kind of underwhelming and a little sparkler with just two men hugging in the middle. But yeah, no, I have no idea why they did it this way, or did they not think it was going to be? Did they think that got over bigger? I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, it's insane. So yeah, Veer, who cares? Essentially, I don't really. Like, unless a few months from now we could probably come back and be like, oh, okay, he's a threat. But with big people like that, like, let's say for example Lars Sullivan or Sanity or Hit Row, these people with lots of vignettes, they get released very, very quickly. So I don't know. I fear for Veer's future.
That's a tough one. I hate to say it, you don't wish that on anybody, but it's the recipe for disaster in WWE. A lot of vignettes, a lot of misguidedness, and they show up and they're like, you're not what we thought you were. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened? It's just terrible. It's like buying a house, or like buying a plot of land and starting to build the house, and you get all the way there and you're starting to look at the house and you're almost done, and this is you've been working on this for months, and then right before the house is like ready to go and you're ready to get all your stuff in, you're like, I don't want it. Anybody else?
Yeah.
It's so weird, right? Like,
it's like you're at an auction and you're trying whatever it takes to get that thing. And then it's like, well, this isn't as cool as we thought it is. You send to next buyer, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, we don't want it. We've changed our mind. Let's move on. So, yeah, it's the only time we'll tell what will happen with Veer Mahan. if he does take on. He's going to fight Mysterio now. I don't know, but that transitions very nicely into this topic here.
Ezekiel, WTF. Now, for me, the past couple of weeks, the
I like
Ezekiel
this.
gimmick's kind of grown on me. The thing with KO where it's like, I'm Ezekiel. No, you're not. You're Elias. Quit lying to everybody. It's starting to grow on me. I don't know what people think of it. And then, of course, this week, our very own LJ and Ali reported on that. They had like a photo of Ezekiel and Elias together, being like, "See, I told you, Ezekiel's real. They're siblings."
Right?
So, and then we had Tommaso debut on Raw this Monday, being like,
Oh,
"Hi, I'm Ezekiel. Hey, Ezekiel, nice to meet you." I thought that was so funny. So that could sort of have Tommaso get involved in the KO feud, and I would love
right.
to see Tommaso versus KO, no matter what the circumstances are.
Absolutely. I'm totally down to see that. The line of the whole episode was when he walked away and he's like, KO's losing his mind, and Ciampa's like, no, that's Ezekiel. And KO looks at him and goes, why are you doing this to me? And he was so offended and so upset. Like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah,
So I thought, to your point, it's dumb as shit.
yeah.
However, I do give KO a lot of credit on selling us on this. Um, it's just so weird, man. It's so insane. And I don't know what the fans think. Do they feel like we're like, when you see a change like this as a fan, are you not like a little offended? Like, oh man, they really think we're stupid. Like, this is so dumb.
Like for me, with like name changes, like let's say Piper Niven to Dewdrop or Pete Dunne to Butch. At least with Ezekiel, they acknowledge that this guy used to be Elias, and
Yeah,
they could make that into a storyline where it's like, you're not Ezekiel, you're Elias. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm Ezekiel. Besides being like, hi, I'm Ezekiel, and there's just nothing wrong with that.
right. Yeah, just showing up as Ezekiel and asking like, and just acting like we should just take it, like we've done with other ones, right? Even Gunther, like, yeah, no, this is Gunther. Like, don't worry about the Walter thing you used to know. And this goes back to something asked about on the watch party. If you sign this person to be a wrestler in your company, should you not be developing them as the character you see them as? Yes, there will be changes. There'll be characters that don't work, that do work, to varying degrees. But should you not sign? Okay, Walter, nice to meet you. We're gonna put you in NXT UK, but we're gonna name you Gunther because if you come up to WWE, we don't want you using your real name. And so for 4 or 5 years, we get used to Gunther, the big slapper. And when he gets over here, the big slapper for the British fans, that one, you can laugh at that one. But am I wrong with that? Like, is that not should be the plan? Not a new
Yeah.
name, a new character every step?
Yeah, because it seems like they've been doing the same thing with people on NXT, like we said before, Pete Dunne with Butch, Raquel Gonzalez to Raquel Rodriguez, and it's just like, let's get you. Why don't you name them like that on NXT?
Yeah.
Have Butch, even though Butch might not be an Irishman in NXT, you could still have him be the wild goose dog that just beats the
Mhm.
hell out of everybody. Get us used to that, so that way when he comes to SmackDown, just shows up, beats the hell out of somebody. It's like, oh my god, it's Butch, and not,
Yeah.
wait a minute, that's Pete Dunne.
Mm-hmm. No, Champa got to keep his name, but are you not completely like we just talked about Veer underwhelming us with his debut? Have they not just kicked Tommaso Ciampa down the street like the proverbial can, like just completely booting this whole debut of one of the most beloved WWE characters, period?
Yeah, and we saw reports where it was like WWE had a memo being like, you're not allowed to use your real names. Guess what?
Mm.
Tommaso Ciampa's real name, his real first name at least, is Tommaso. So we could see him just be called Ciampa.
Yes,
So,
Ciampa,
uh,
Ciampa.
Ciampa, like I,
Oh,
even though I wouldn't mind him just being called Ciampa if he kept the Ciampa name,
Fair enough.
Like that goes to your point. We're so used to him being called Tommaso Ciampa,
Yeah.
Austin Theory, right? Andrade Cien Almas, you know, Biggie Langston, Adrian
Yeah.
Neville, those names, and then it's just like, nah, you don't have a last name no more.
What do you think their hatred with the no, like, we all as sports fans, like, you watch UFC, I don't
Yes.
know, if you watch other sports, I don't know if we talked about that.
No, no.
I know
Just
you're a UFC guy,
UFC.
but yeah, but if you look at hockey fans and baseball fans, and
Mhm.
like your favorite is Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan. It wasn't just, hey, there's Jordan, right? It's
Yeah.
not Cher or Madonna. Like, what are we doing?
Here's
I don't understand
McDavid.
what they're going for with one name.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Or it's like, "Hey, here's McGregor."
Yeah, now come to the ring, McGregor. You're like, who?
It's like, "Man, do you have a first name? Do we need to see a birth certificate? Like, were you born as Champa? Like,
Right?
who carried you for 9 months to name you that?" Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Like,
it's just insane.
yeah, and then same thing. Like, and it's always like the weird, like, so like a Riddle, right? Like, why
Yeah.
can't it be Matt Riddle? We know him as Matt Riddle. That's how we identify with him. If we were a sports fan, we want,
Yeah, he
there's
was
Matt
Matt
Riddle.
Riddle in the UFC, yeah,
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons you got Matt Riddle was his name value.
even though he was a very controversial figure in the UFC, he was
Uh,
still catching eyes and all that,
oh,
so
absolutely.
but,
Absolutely.
yeah, no, he's just Riddle now, and yeah,
So
back to
you're telling
Ezekiel.
sorry about
No,
that.
you
Yeah,
go ahead.
you're telling me the Ezekiel thing is growing on you.
I not Ezekiel as a character, but the whole
Gimmick.
angle behind it, where
Okay.
it's like, "No, you're not Ezekiel, you're a lot." I like how they're referencing Ezekiel's past gimmick and
Okay.
having other people in the roster sort of acknowledge that, "Hey, he is Ezekiel," and then have KO just lose his marbles about it, being like, "Man, I've known this guy for years. I got booed with him right beside him. This is
Right.
hilarious."
Right.
So, I like I should have made myself clear. I like the angle, but not the name.
Okay, fair enough. Don't like Ezekiel at all, but yeah, I'll have to wait and see. I'm not sold yet. I'm just still kind of bitter at the bait and switch. And I mean, this one is actually becoming kind of comical for the reasons you said. So we'll see. Maybe next week when we talk about it, I'll have a little bit of a better opinion.
Yeah, and I might just be like, "I love this." So, we'll just have to wait and see.
Uh, where let's go. Let's go to, how about this one?
Cody made the right move. Of course, we didn't get to say this, at Let's Rumble. Our last episode, we were like, "Is he coming? Is he not?" But so, in this episode, he is here. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, yeah, there's a lot of criticism where it's like, "Oh, no, he should have stayed in AEW, that traitor. He destroyed Triple H's stage, and he complained a bunch of times." But, in the words of, Shane McMahon's theme song, "Money talks."
Here comes the money, right?
Yeah,
That's a big proponent of this for sure. And oh wait, we had some comments. Did I miss some comments?
I think oh, you missed one
I missed
about
one.
Veer.
I think
Nick
they said,
says,
yeah.
"Why didn't they just leave Veer and Sarav alone as a tag team and have them be a group with Jinder and maybe Shaky Shanky?" Uh,
Shaky shaky.
yeah, a four-man group. Yeah, that would have
Mhm.
been pretty cool, but,
Yeah.
I
But
don't know.
I do want them to try and get away from like the typecasting as well. We can have a few, factions with a mix of people as well. We can have people make friends with other people. We don't have to keep. It's not 1985. We don't have to keep all the group types all in one category. Like, okay, you guys hang out because you're French, and you guys hang out because you're from India. You guys hang out.
'Cause you're
They can
British
expand on that,
or you're
but they
Irish.
do
Yeah.
need to give us something.
Yeah, no, it's insane, but, Yeah, they clearly see something in Veer and Sarav, and they're just I don't know what they're doing. We'll find out soon. Are you watching this Sweeve's House Wrestling on Fight
Swerve's house.
TV? Swerve's House. Whoopsies.
Yeah, no, we might peek at it, but we're doing the Windy City Riot tonight, and we're doing the Battle of the Belts. So there's only so much we can watch all in one evening. So we will
Yeah.
be watching those two shows on a special edition of the Watch Party. It's a Saturday night edition, so bring your drinks, bring your snacks, bring whatever you need to do to have a smile on your face and enjoy. We had a wicked party last night. We had a lot of laughs. We hit 120 subscribers today, so tune in, folks. Let everyone you know we're going to have a good time tonight. And it's I'm hoping for some good wrestling. Will Ospreay, John
John
Moxley
Moxley. Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
Even
A
if
lot
the
to do.
even if the match card is like shite, which this
But it's
match card
not.
really isn't. Yeah. If
Yeah.
even if you had a shite match card, but that main event, that's still worth watching.
Athena. Yeah, I saw Athena fight a couple days ago, and or I saw her first match back, and she was actually quite, she seemed emotional about it. It was a pretty good match.
Yeah. So back on the Cody thing, I like
Yes.
how he's being treated well. It's not like he's back to Stardust or he's like a jobber now. He's a big deal. He's facing Seth Rollins in probably the most anticipated match on Backlash that we're probably gonna get, because God knows if Roman's fighting at Backlash because of his injury or if he's fighting Nakamura. So yeah, Cody versus Seth will definitely be the most anticipated match, and he had a decent one with The Miz on Monday.
Yeah, he had a good match back. I mean, the match at Mania was one of the better matches. Ignore the moment. The actual just match itself with Seth was one of the better matches on WrestleMania weekend. So I give him
Yes.
credit for that for sure.
Yeah. So, and I like the whole angle where it was like, no, my father never won the WWE championship, so I'm back to cement my family's legacy because Dustin never won it, Cody never won it, Dusty never won it. So it's like Cody's really the only one left that really can win it. So that's why he's
Mhm.
back. I think that's a pretty good reason, even if it's not the real reason, and if it's just a storyline reason. I think it's
Right.
solid, and I'm completely down for it.
So you don't see it as like, do you see it as a betrayal or giving up on what his actual dream was? Like, he went as far as to go out on his own, not on his own, but find new friends, help build this, trick a billionaire into helping him, which was genius on their part, by the way.
Yes.
Um, they, but he built this brand with these guys and then left. Is it on him? Is he, did he give up on the actual battle?
It just goes to show that creative control and disagreements can happen to anybody. You could be the CEO of a massive company, but if you
Mhm,
see the way that what you've built is not going your way, people
mhm,
can quit very easily. So maybe that's what happened to him. Maybe he had this dream where, he and all his friends were going to be treated like the big bad guys, like him, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. And then with Tony Khan running things and the Young Bucks being what they are right now, Kenny being hurt and him being the gatekeeper.
yeah,
Yeah, clearly he just didn't see things going his way and he probably left. So he probably figured, hey, if I have no control, I might as well go to a place where I have no control. So that's what he did.
interesting. Now, we've seen a lot of fans burning t-shirts, burning posters,
Yes.
melting toys. I saw one guy put a Cody Rhodes in the microwave, which Jesus Christ.
That could have destroyed your whole microwave, bro.
Yeah, what are we thinking on this? Like, have we lost our
Uh,
goddamn mind on that?
like, it's kind of the same thing as in, like, your favorite celebrity being like, I didn't like my role in a movie, so I left, right? Or I didn't like the show, so I left and my character got killed off, right? Um, people can leave. Like, people have brains. They don't have to be loyal 100% of the time, right? They don't have to be in the same position for the rest of their lives. If they want to leave, they can leave. If they want to go
Mhm,
someplace else, they could go someplace else. If you want to quit your job, quit your job. If you see a better opportunity, take it. And
mhm.
Thomas Dunn on our YouTube channel says Cody soon to be new 24/7 champ. No, nope. At the rate they're going right now, I don't think so.
Surfer doesn't agree either.
Yeah, so
So,
who knows? WWE is using
I'm
Cody Rhodes for ratings on both brands and eventually NXT next year. Cody and NXT would be sick.
maybe. I don't know. See, I struggle because AEW Cody Rhodes, I think, was underwhelming. And maybe I'm wrong. I just didn't love him. And maybe it was because he was in and out. Maybe he was inconsistent. But I think overall for his career and his uh for his family, it was probably the best choice. Where was he? Where was this AEW thing going to go? It seemed like he had just worked himself out of that crowd, and it didn't matter unless he was going to go heel, which he seems really, really opposed to going heel, and I don't understand why. Um, but now he's here with this big American dream story. And yes, you know what? If you're going to build it properly. Take your time, give him some matches, write it properly, and that big date in September, that anniversary. I mean,
Yes.
what a compelling story. Do I think I think Cody would have put enough in the contract to make sure he wasn't Stardust or fighting for the 24/7 champion, but doesn't mean he's not going to be floating in the abyss that is WWE very shortly once they forget he's new and shiny.
Thomas says, I don't rate Cody. He wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan when he was in WWE before. I didn't rate him in AEW, and I still don't rate him in WWE today. He's a good wrestler, but I don't see him as a Rock or Austin type character.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Do you see?
nobody could really be on that level, right? I mean, Cena and
Mhm.
Roman, you can kind of put him on the Rock or Austin level, but he's a decent mid carder, as Thomas says. Yeah, he's a pretty decent mid carder. Maybe put him in the IC or US title
But
scene, but right
yeah, I
now,
don't see him taking on Roman. Like I don't. Like they're selling us on Cody's going to chase him. Do you see him beating Roman?
no, unless it's a Money in the Bank cash in, I don't see him beating Roman square and fair. So
Right. Like even
only
Cody.
time will tell.
Mhm. Yeah, I just don't see him going toe to toe with like Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar. Like
No,
next year, WrestleMania, Cody, Brock. No, I
no.
don't know. It's a tough one for me.
Yeah, who knows? They're treating him very well now. Maybe by the time SummerSlam or Survivor Series comes around, we'll probably have a different take, and he'll probably be treated like crap again. But right now, he's new and shiny, and Vince loves it.
One last question on this Cody thing before we jump into another topic. But what if things start going sideways? Creative's not listening to him. I know he made a comment in his press conference, like, I can't wait for the first writer to walk up to me. And it was kind of like interesting because the animal that is WWE, and they have a way of getting their way because they own you. Cody, what if he gets what if he falls out of favor here again? What is he just done with wrestling?
I don't know. That's really hard. It seems like WWE is his last resort, and maybe he might go into acting, politics, reality show. I don't know.
Mhm.
He has a star power, so
You think so?
yeah. Well, maybe
Okay.
not like a decent actor, but maybe put him in like
Mhm.
some B movies, and then maybe he could work his way up to
Mhm.
be in feature films. But
Yep.
you never know. We've seen it with a few wrestlers, and hell, we've had Dean Ambrose in movies before. If he could do that, Cody Rhodes could do it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not sold on Cody the way other people are. I'm not sold on him yet. I thought his WrestleMania moment was huge. I thought it was good. Um, Big plot for it. I don't know. I'm just not. I just don't know. I don't see it.
Surfer says, I would love to see Cody versus Cameron Grimes next year when he had the title over 200 days. Imagine the booking. Like for the North American title or for the WWE title? I don't even think Cameron Grimes would be on that level.
No,
As much
that's
as I
tough.
love Cameron Grimes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it. But I don't know. I mean, I think the position Cody was in AEW, he didn't have much choice. It seemed like he just worked himself out of that group, and he was like the odd man out. Right? They're all in their
Yeah.
flip flops and shorts and or jorts and you know throwing up too sweet signs, and Cody's in a suit trying to be prim and proper, and it was almost like I'm above this, and there you go. It kind of fits.
Yeah. Oh, Thomas says he can go back to AEW as a heel. The AEW fan base view him as a traitor. The hate he would get would be unreal.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would Tony have him back?
Just depends on the money and the huge sincere apology from Cody Rhodes.
But maybe not. They said they split, peacefully, and there was no hard feelings. It just kind of was time to move on, kind of thing. So if that is the case, and he did go back to that's Matt Cardona GCW heat right there. That is nuclear. That is a different level of heat altogether.
Yeah. So Surfer says that it should be for the North American title, which the rate Cody is right now, I don't see him going down to NXT. No, especially not in high school NXT. Unrelated question by Nick. Do you think Sammy and Tay are basically getting the leftover storyline from Cody and Brandy? They have gone from young baby faces to the annoying heel couple. I don't even think they're heels. They're just like, hey,
They're
we're
about to
here. They're about to be, but they're sort of
be.
like they're like baby faces. And Tony Khan sees the post on social media with Sammy and Tay, and they're like, oh my god, they're getting a lot of views because they're together. Let's put them together in TV. And
Right?
I don't know about you, but I hate seeing them together. I don't.
Instantly.
I
You know what?
instantly hated them. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, Sammy was doing so good on his own. Tay was doing decent on her own. Leave them on their own.
They instantly went from being,
Love.
individually. I was a big fan of Tay. I thought Tay had an opportunity with the WWE that they kind of, again, didn't really work out, didn't give her a chance. And I like where she's developing. She's young, she's going to get better. She's got a lot of potential, a lot of upside. She's extremely attractive, and she's comfortable out there. The minute this whole thing broke with Sammy and her, and they were public, and it's just a lot. It's like just too much sweetness to this one, to the
Yeah.
point where they're naturally becoming heels. Where I know where Nick's point is, are they kind of getting the leftover? I think they just accidentally walked into it. I think they were like, "Aren't we cute?" And everyone was like, "Enough." They're that couple. Everybody knows that couple. You're like, can you two just quit it? We get it. You like each other. Shut up.
Yeah. It's like the one couple that keeps posting about each other on social media, and everyone's
Right?
like, "Oh, can you just post about something else? Is your life really that boring that you need to share your girlfriend
Yeah,
around?
like we get it.
Like, go away." Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the breakup post in 2 months. Now stop it.
Yeah, and then they'll act like the storyline never even happened. Because
Yeah.
do you really think a broken up couple wants to work together?
Yeah, so that's a slippery slope and a dangerous game too, right? Like,
Yeah.
you
What
can
if they
only
break
have
up?
so yeah, sorry, Will.
It's all good. You go ahead.
Yeah, you can only have so much of that. You run the risk of having way too much intertwining, because then
Yeah.
you piss off one person, you piss off like a collection of people because they're all connected somehow, right? The whole family's upset at you, Tony.
Oh, this is for you.
KJ, if you're trying to make another Roman Reigns in mid card version, it's Ricochet and Cameron Grimes. Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm okay with
Yeah.
both of those. I'm a big fan of Cameron Grimes. I'm a big fan of Ricochet. I just think he gets booked poorly, and they don't use him effectively. Now he's got the belt. He won a match. That's new and exciting.
Wow.
So we'll see.
Yeah. And one last question before we change to a different topic, because holy
Yeah.
Christ, AEW it sort of became. Let's change gears. Do you think Tony Khan is saving Cesaro for nothing, Double or Nothing, as the Joker or Johnny Gargano? I want Gargano.
Oh,
I
you
think
want Gargano?
Cesaro would be good in a team with Chris Hero,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
Gargano would be sick on his own.
Who gets a bigger pop?
Cesaro, because of the way
Yeah,
he was treated in WWE.
and more. I think more of the casual fans also would be aware of a little more aware of Cesaro than
Than
Gargano.
Johnny Gargano, yeah, because diehard fans probably wouldn't even give NXT the bat of the eye. So, yeah, I think
Hmm.
Cesaro would probably get more pops from the casuals than Johnny Gargano. Who knows? But I would be fine with either. If it's Cesaro, if it's Johnny, oh
Hmm.
hell, if it's Bray, I wouldn't give two flying patoots who it is, as long as it's a good Joker and it's a decent pop.
Yeah, and I mean, I keep joking. I want to see Cesaro with Blackpool. I really think.
Yeah, he'd be decent for Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he'd be pretty cool. He'd be like the Jake Hager of the Blackpool Combat Club, just
right.
less, just
Hmm.
more used, I should say.
Hmm. If he was just a badass with a chip on his shoulder, didn't say much. When he did say something, it kind of meant something.
Yeah.
But just going in there and smashing guys when all else fails, Cesaro shows up and William Regal sicks him on whoever. So I think KJ know who it is. 100. There you go. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's a good fit, and the Regal's relationship with Cesaro. I love your idea of Hero. I mean, bring back that tag team, and they were good together.
Yeah. eh, I don't care who takes the tag titles from Jurassic Express. Unpopular opinion. I think it's time for them to go.
Listen. I was rooting for Red Dragon. I got him in my pool, and
I was,
well, we
yeah,
got him
so
in the
was
pool.
I. We got
Yeah,
him
we
in the
got him in our
pool.
pool.
I was
Not
out
used to
there.
using that.
I
What?
was out there watching with my family for the first time in 2 years, and I was just like, "Come on, let's get I'm sick of Jurassic Express." And then my family
Right.
looked at me like I was retarded, and it's just like, "I will love Red Dragon."
Next topic. Yuta earned it. It ties right into the last topic. So there we go. Nice
Yeah,
transition.
Yuta, yeah, with AEW at least.
Well, with
Yuta,
Blackpool as well.
yes, with Blackpool. Yuta, I believe he earned his spot in the Blackpool Combat Club. I said this last night that it's a young star who probably has a lot to gain and nothing to lose. And if he's in the spot with main event talents like Bryan Danielson, John Moxley, William Regal, and whoever may join in the future, Wheeler Yuta could have a sick future as part of this group.
Wheeler Yuta, I think so. Hey Anthony, good to see you. Yeah, I think Yuta's ready to go. I think a lot of people criticize the over gore of this match, and I think some of it might have been accidental. Think about it. You got this young guy trying to dice his forehead for the first or second time in his life. And I like Yuta. I think he's got a lot of upside. The guy had a belt on his shoulders. People dismissed him just because there was people out there the infamous Mr. Cornette. He shat all over this match, and again, it was like a microcosm of where he was just over analyzing certain things. But here's a guy who he's got a belt, whether you acknowledge that or not. He's got a belt on his shoulder, and you know what? If this was an old school angle, I think people would have been completely into it. I mean,
Yes.
having a gusher is not beyond them at all. And you see the old storyline, same thing. You get the guy and you smack him into submission, and you can't beat him, join him. And I mean, some people are just overly critical, and I think it was just with Jim, it was just a matter of like the old guy on the porch. So what? You had plenty of matches that had blood and guts, and sometimes you say the
Yeah.
shit's too soft. So
I think it's just because Yuta is like this younger guy that not many people would really know unless you're like a big fan of the indies. I I'm not the biggest fan of the Indies, and I didn't. I loved when Wheeler Yuta joined because the last few matches that I watched with Yuta in it, he stole the show. He was amazing, no matter who he fought, whether it was with Blackpool against Blackpool.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same people that are like, well, they don't look. They bring in all these WWE guys and these, your EVPs, and you don't bring up, you don't get the young guys over properly. Blah blah blah. And they're like, okay, we're gonna highlight. We are going to shine a huge light on this kid tonight, and we're gonna get him over. Listen to that crowd again. People not listening to the crowd, just staring at the TV, going, "This is shit. This is shit. This is shit." But listen to the crowd. The crowd was absorbed in it. And the easy answer is, "Oh, well, that's just the diehard fans." Well, listen, if they have that much diehard fans in the building, diehard fans, good for them. They got a good core base. But for me, it's just you can't win because oh well, why did they put the shine on Yuta and then not put it on so and so or not put it on so and so? You asked for them to put some shine on some young guys. We got MJF shining, Darby shining a lot. Jungle Boy's got a title. So I
Wardlow,
mean, some people are just right, just like so critical. No matter what you do, Yuta, this whole angle with Blackpool's been good. I'm a fan of Regal. I'm a fan of Moxley. I want him to tone down his crazy just a little, but
yeah,
that's Moxley. But yeah, I feel like some people out there just you can't make them happy.
yeah. It's impossible to make people happy in this world. So yeah, I think Wheeler earned his spot in the Blackpool Combat Club, and hopefully he's not the last member of that club. I think they can build to be an army.
An army.
And
We
KJ, this question's for you from Anthony.
I think the next member, because Tony Khan owns ROH and the Blackhawk Combat Club. Flip Gordon, interesting choice. I didn't even think about it. Somebody like Flip. Yeah, maybe. I want Cesaro. I'm sticking to Cesaro until they give me someone else. I think it's going to be another young guy. So I mean, it's got potential.
Yeah,
What if it's Will? What if it's Will Ospreay?
that would blow the house down with how big
Yeah,
he is. Oh yeah, and what if Will bleeds
tonight. Oh,
tonight against John Moxley? Will Regal just come out being like, "Welcome to the club, sunshine"?
yeah, smacks him in the face. Let's go. Let's go.
Yep.
They've been definitely getting formidable at that point. So, yeah, I mean, we'll move on to another topic. But yeah, I just listen. Like guys like Cornette, I'm a huge fan of Cornette. I listen to a lot of him. I think he has a genius mind when it comes to the sport of pro wrestling. But it bothers me when you can't win. Oh, well, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So then you get an angle that does make sense. Then you're like, but he bled too much. And the execs aren't going to like it. And the execs are going to shut you down. I'm like, dude, I mean, you came up through an era where Dusty and Flair and all these guys were bleeding on a regular. So I don't quite understand what we're talking about anymore. But if you're
Mhm.
gonna be critical, at least make it. You got to give them credit when they do it, and I know he has, but in this case, I think he completely missed the boat, and I liked the angle. So that's all I got about that one, Will.
Yeah, I'm done with that topic too. Yuta definitely earned that, and he's over, and a lot of people love him. So they're doing something right with that kid.
I like this one.
Oh
This will be
yeah,
one of our last ones
this
before
will
we
be one of our
go.
last. Yeah. So Dynamite is the best show in wrestling right now. This could be a hot take.
It is a hot
Um,
take.
yeah. So the past ever since we started this channel, uh, Dynamite has been the number one reigning, defending, undisputed power rankings champion. Um, and for good reason. I think they have some good stories. They have a good roster.
Mhm.
They have young guys, old guys, and people in between who the people love, who get them over. They have some time to shine, and yeah, I think Dynamite really earns it. Oh, Anthony says, Will, I understand Cornette is supposed to be a bad guy in the podcast, but sometimes he takes it too far in terms of criticizing wrestlers. Yeah. I mean, unless the wrestlers really deserve it, like that one time where he ranted on Ronda Rousey for her being like, "Oh, this is fake," and la la la, they didn't treat me very good. Then yes, I think she earned criticism for that. But if it's just like, "Oh, Wheeler Yuta's a young guy and he bled too much," it's just like, okay, Aren't these the same people that are like, oh my God, this seems too fake? This could make you bleed to a pulp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just over like, I mean, like criticizing him. Oh, he went for a kick there and it looked like shit, and these punches look like shit. Like, go back, guys. Yesterday I watched a good chunk. So I spent a good chunk of day watching some good old Mid South wrestling, and a lot of the punches and a lot of the kicks look like shit. It's the way it is. It was on the angle and how they sold it, and
Yeah.
again, he's really right about a lot of things, but it's like he has rose-colored glasses about the good old days, and this sometimes you just can't please him. And I was looking forward to hearing him kind of give a opinion on the whole Wheeler Yuta Blackpool Society. I keep calling him that, whatever. The
Blackpool
angle.
Combat Club.
There we go. And I was actually surprised that he shot all over, that he didn't care for it in the least. So it is what it is. He's entitled to his opinion. Sometimes he pushes the volume because of who he is. But yeah, I mean, you got to give him a break.
Yeah. I disagree. This is about the Dynamite take. I don't think Don't Mind has been the best show the past 2 weeks for me.
Dynamite.
Is SmackDown. Oh, okay. I don't think
Yeah,
Dynamite has been the best show. Yeah, Dynamite is the best show the past 2 weeks for me. It's SmackDown. Woo! Pretty. Woo! Okay, they must be doing something right to have you be like best show.
Really?
I don't know. SmackDown is just like same things over and over and over. It's like, hey, here's the thing with Butch and New Day. Here's the thing with Ricochet doing something. We've had McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for 2 weeks in a row now. Please don't give it to us next week. And the Bloodline just running around,
buddy.
and the Bloodline just being like, hey, we're the best. We know you're the best. So, I don't know. SmackDown is very hard. Like, same things over and over. You miss one SmackDown, you've pretty much missed them all. Like, or if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Dynamite, it's like they have something different. Most of the time, I mean, well, the past few weeks we've had Wardlow beating the hell out of security while a member of the Pinnacles had a match. But
That's a good story.
other than that, if they're doing something repeatedly, there's more addition to the story as well, right? So I don't know. I think Dynamite's like tiers above what SmackDown is capable of. Though I do respect your opinion, but in terms of facts, in terms of entertainment, I think Dynamite's got it in the bag.
You think so, eh? I mean, the power rankings show that the Dynamite's been kind of rolling along. I think 2 weeks ago, Anthony, no, correct me if I'm wrong. The SmackDown before Mania, the Go Home show, was all promos and garbage.
It was. It was
So,
almost all promos besides promos in the ring and backstage interviews.
mm-hmm. So I mean, we're not getting a whole lot there. The last couple weeks, last night was terrible. Like, what I'm curious about is Anthony, what about SmackDown is jumping off? Like, what are you like? Yeah, man, this is the best wrestling. Like, what in the show is making you come back?
And what in Dynamite do you not see? Now, Nick here agrees. Dynamite is not only the best show in wrestling. I'd say AEW is the best company in wrestling. They build stars like Yuta, etc. They deliver on surprises versus here's all our mystery entrants.
I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully there. AEW, whether it's Rampage is sort of like the SmackDown of AEW, while Dynamite's like the Raw. But both shows managed to deliver at least a little bit in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a dream match, whether it's a bloodbath, whether it's whether it's an emotional promo, or something like that, or a decent rivalry.
Yep.
They deliver almost every single time. Now, I will admit, the Owen Hart tournament qualifiers, they seem to be too much, and it seems to be going a little stale. And every time a Pinnacle member faces off, it's like, oh, Wardlow's coming out. But all the rest, I think they deliver.
Now, keep in mind, last night on our watch party for Rampage, it was a special 7 o'clock show, and it didn't get rave reviews. A lot of people weren't overly thrilled with how the title match was with Paige, and the
Yeah.
Texas Death match was underwhelming. And part of the problem with that is they've given us so many Texas Death matches, and wherever Miami Death match and Florida Death match, and it becomes monotonous, even though you're trying to be grandiose. And yeah, so it's got its flaws. I think people really hang on, especially the diehard WWE fans, hang on to like the early days of AEW. And I admit, when I tuned in and started watching those early shows and the early buy-ins and such, or the Double or Nothing, and we had some weird shit. I wasn't really crazy about Nakazawa running around with a bottle of baby oil mid-match, and people were laughing, and the indie guys loved it. And like, oh, this is so funny. I thought it was stupid. I hated it. It put a bad taste in my mouth for some of the product. But you've seen the evolution. Like now people are complaining about, oh, so-and-so never gets on TV, and we never see this guy, and we never see that guy. But look who we are seeing on the regular now. Moxley, Bryan, Punk. We got Punk Penta this week. Are you kidding me? But the matches are good.
They are.
Not all of them, but a lot of them are good.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And it's like, you want to talk about SmackDown or Raw, it's mostly promos or like packages. Like AEW, it could go match, backstage interview, match, promo package, match. It's a lot of matches to fit in 2 hours. But yeah. Thomas says WWE equals packages and rematch every show. It seems only pay-per-view matters for WWE. Even then, that's mostly rematches. Charlotte versus Ronda, for example. Maybe it's because AEW don't have as many pay-per-views, so the weekly shows mean more. Hey, that's a good point. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. 100%. Like, how many pay-per-views do they have? At least once every 2 months?
I think they got
2.5 months?
They got, I think, 5 total.
Yeah, 5 a year, 6 a year. So
yeah, but it's pretty much quarterly, but then there's one other one in there, I believe.
Yeah,
So
they have Full Gear, All Out, Double or Nothing, Blood and Guts, Revolution.
So 5.
5, and I think we're missing one. Fighter Fest. 6.
Does Fighter Fest not count as one of the shows though? Like one of the special shows, not an actual pay-per-view?
Maybe.
I think we're missing one, but either way, I think that's a huge factor in this. I think because it's harder to write for that. The WWE has that 1 month turnaround all the time, right? So you can peak and you can kind of end stories and start stories using, the pay-per-views each month. And I think it's too much because the pay-per-views, you have a 3-hour Raw every week that isn't good. So what makes you think you're going to do a monthly 3-hour show that's decent? And they really do struggle. And I think it takes away from the shows. It also makes the pay-per-views less important. Having less pay-per-views, the pay-per-views feels like we were all amped for Revolution. We hadn't seen a pay-per-view in a few months.
That is true. And that's where I think AEW like gets their hype more, is that we don't see a pay-per-view all the time, and most of their pay-per-views are filled with dream matches or matches that we've never seen, or a match with big stipulations. And then he says, Will. There's only one Will. Who do you guys think Eddie Kingston is going to add to his group to even it out against the Jericho Appreciation Society? The Acclaimed? ?
No, they're going LAX. This is leading. All roads lead to Low Key and Homicide. The Acclaimed would be hilarious. I think Bowen's still hurt though.
Oh yeah. Maybe give Max Caster something to do.
I think we're going to see the greatest rendition of LAX with Eddie and the whole group, and I think it's going to be amazing.
I forgot about the rest of LAX. Yeah, that could happen. I could definitely see that happen. You can use the same argument for the AEW diehards. They want to criticize WWE for repetitive storylines, but they put their head in the sand and don't criticize AEW for the same thing. What was I just doing? I was criticizing Wardlow just coming out beating the hell out of security all the damn time, and Darby and Andrade all the damn time. Yeah. The problem is WWE does it too much. AEW only does it a little bit. So you won't see as much criticisms with AEW that you will normally see on WWE. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing, and I think part of this might be generationally, but I don't know why nowadays, like you have to either be like left or right. Like this very divisive world that we live in,
Yes.
where there's a collection of like we have to hate the other brand, and it's like, wait, can't like for us, we do watch parties for like Impact, and I know right now we're comparing WWE a lot because Impact's kind of that lower tier, at least in the it is. We don't have to get into why.
Yeah.
But you know, we watch all the wrestling, and when Impact gives us an amazing pay-per-view, we praise it. I don't know why people can't watch WWE and go, okay, this sucked, that sucked, this sucked, but this was good, that was good, and then watch AEW and go, I hate all this, but that match there, like to sometimes throwing the baby out with the bathwater isn't the best approach to everything, and people get very narrow-minded, but they both have their flaws. They both have their flaws. I'm really curious how Tony's going to manage all of this. I hope his infrastructure around him is better than we realize. And they just signed Pat Buck, so that's a big deal. I mean, they got people around, so I just really think that you can watch both shows and take a bit of all of it.
Yeah.
But the repetition on WWE is horrible.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing people miss about current day AEW is they finally have minds backstage. Regal, Punk, Bryan. So you don't have Russo-esque mimosa matches, etc. We're finally getting pro wrestling. Yeah, that's a good take. I definitely agree with that.
The best example of that, Will and Nick and everybody else, is what we just saw with the Young Bucks and FTR. When
Yes.
you elevate the talent level and the mental level of the guys in the back, you know, if that was Young Bucks and the Best Friends a year and a half ago, it would have been a shit show. Everybody and their uncle would have been at the ringside. There would have been 97 almost Sunday morning or Saturday morning. I'm going to try not to curse, but there would have been everybody involved. There would have been 300 super kicks. They get in a match with somebody like FTR, elevates their game. CM Punk, we've seen it with a lot of these guys as well. It really just brings that professional wrestler approach to the match. And in my opinion, the FTR Young Bucks match part 2 we just got was my favorite Young Bucks match since I started watching AEW. Like
Yeah.
straight up.
I could definitely agree with that. And Nick says, and most people grew up only on sports entertainment, so they're not used to all the okay. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And Anthony says, you're rational, Will. I'm talking about the irrational AEW fanboys that refuse to criticize.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Okie dokie. Yeah, there's a few of those, and that's much to your point, KJ.
It is.
You can't all be left.
Yeah.
You can't all be right. And it's like if you enjoy this company more,
Mhm.
then you're a WWE fanboy and you don't find anything wrong with it, and you find everything wrong with AEW. Or if you go on that side, you're an
Mhm.
AEW fanboy and you can't see anything wrong with that, like stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we just can't enjoy both. You can only enjoy one or the other.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely tribalism. It's crazy. But for me, I think I wonder if I 1 second. No, I can't do it. I was gonna try something kind of cute, but I can't.
yeah,
Where are we going with this? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the WWE's if I love when I interact with fans and people online as well, just because you can say something completely neutral, like, oh, you know, I don't think this is working out, or maybe they should try this, and people will shit all over you for having that any opinion. How dare you talk about so and so? A very defensive group on both sides. And I'm the perfect guy because I just like causing trouble that way and throwing my 2 cents in, and people lose their mind. I have people telling me like I should die because I'm like, what do you mean? So and so's the best. The Young Bucks
yeah,
suck. And people just lose it. So I mean, at the end of the day, right now, I want WWE fans to come on our show and talk to us more and try and convince me, what am I missing? I've been watching a lot of wrestling my life, and I don't know what I'm missing when I watch these shows and they tell me it's great. I want to know what I'm missing.
Yeah. Nick says just let people enjoy what they like. This is the biggest boom wrestling has had since the Attitude Era, and instead of just enjoying it, everyone just seems to want to be upset. Yeah, see, I don't know with people nowadays. They just want to be upset, so they want to take their anger out on people who enjoy what you don't. And one more question before we get to the question of the day. Well, one more
There we
comment,
go.
we should say, is
One
from
more
Anthony.
comment before the question of the day.
Yeah, I'm afraid of both, but I can admit one. WWE has horrible storylines, and I can admit one. AEW has inconsistent
Yeah.
storylines. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, sorry to interrupt there, but you can kind
All
of,
good.
based on the people in charge, you can kind of see how we get what we get. Vince is an old man who's lost his noodle a little, so we get these really boring, old timey, kind of stupid angles that never work out. Then he kind of forgets, and then we go on to another thing. Tony seems like he's on a high quality nose candy and is amped up
Yeah.
to Mach 9. So he kind of writes, and the whole inconsistency is like that. It's like his hyperactive ADHD is kicking in, and he can't focus, and he's got shit everywhere. So you can kind of see how we end up where we are.
Misery loves company. All right, enough with this. Let's get to our question of the day. Who is legitimately next for Roman Reigns? And I love how the fans are today. So you can leave who you think is legitimately next in the comments. I know Nakamura's kicking around, but who do you think is legitimately next? As in, who do you think will be a challenge? Who do you think has a chance, especially if the brand split is ending? Um, um, like who do you think? Like it could be either brand. It could be Raw or SmackDown. So if we are going to do that, I think it is the one and only, since it's advertised quite a bit on house shows, Drew McIntyre.
Finally, poor
Finally.
Drew gonna get a bit more of a rub. Finally.
Finally. Well, I hope. Who do
Hmm.
you think?
Yeah, and I think the question is legitimately for the reason that I don't think anybody believes that Shinsuke is a legitimate challenger in
No.
the same way that Cesaro was not a legitimate challenger. So, who's going to test Roman? Is he going to carry that belt all the way to WrestleMania 39 and have an epic, beyond epic title reign? What do you think, folks? Let us know. Leave that in the box or in the chat below after we sign off, by all means. But yeah, I mean, we've gone over an hour by on a Saturday morning. Fans tuned in as always. We love it.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add here this week, Will?
I not really much. Oh, there we go. Nick has a response. I think it goes Nakamura, then Drew, then we maybe get Seth and or KO. Roman then beats Rocket Mania, and then loses it to Braun Breaker.
The day after Mania.
Oh yeah, because they love having Braun win a title after Mania. But
Mhm.
that's a solid theory. That's a solid theory. I think it goes Nakamura, then Drew, then Seth, then AJ, then
Ooh,
Rock.
AJ.
No, then loses to Cody with the Money in the Bank cash in. He takes it back from Cody, then loses to Rock, then takes it back from Rock. Boom.
Oh wow, you have him losing twice. I could see him giving up the belt once. I can't see him losing it twice. That's an interesting take. Ooh. I think we're most likely going to see this man just not lose to anybody. I do think AJ Styles should be in the conversation of who's next. Seth, we've seen. KO, we've seen. There's got to be someone else on it,
Yeah,
on the
Bobby
docket. Bobby,
Lashley.
Bobby Lashley. Maybe we've seen a bit of that. Not a
Yeah.
whole lot though, but Bobby's in trouble with Omos, so I have
Oh
no
yeah,
idea.
that is true. But yeah,
So yeah.
so ladies and gentlemen, that will have to do it for episode 2
Ding
of the
ding.
Let's Rumble podcast with KJ White as the loving co-host, and with your host, Will YM. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for leaving your thoughts, your opinions. Very debate-based episode that you love to see it. And yeah, I mean, very, very successful. We hit 120 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So thank you for that. Please keep in mind a couple of probably about an hour after this is done going live, this will be on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, wherever you stream your podcast. So be sure to tune in for that. And yeah, essentially be good people. Love what you love, hate what you hate. And I think the lesson of the day is just like what you like and love your opinions. And that's what we're here for. Leave your opinions and we'll debate. And that's what this show is all about. So KJ, if you have anything to say, the floor is yours.
That's perfect, buddy. The only thing I want to add to this is that tonight, special edition watch party, Windy City Riot. We got Will Ospreay, we got John Moxley, Josh Alexander's there. I'm almost drawing a blank. What's that?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, yeah, we got the trios. We got a big trios match. We have I should almost pull it up, but I won't because we've been running long. But
yeah, and we also have AEW Battle of the Belts Part 2. We have Natalie Rose taking on Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship. And then we also have Ring of Honor World Championship, Jonathan Gresham versus Dalton Castle. And we have Scorpio Sky taking on everyone's favorite groomsman, Sammy Guevara. So what a night. Yeah.
One quick thing, there was a comment we skipped earlier. Jay White tonight at the Riot has a mystery opponent. I believe our buddy Surfer predicted it's going to be CM Punk showing up at the Windy City Riot. Apparently he made a gun reference or gun fingers. That would blow the roof off. That'd be insane. So we'll see. That is in Chicago tonight. Who knows? Tune in. We'll be here so you can watch us pop and mark out.
So yeah, that does it for Let's Rumble. So that's been it for me. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. I think I've said this about 5 times now. So yeah, that's been it for me.
Bye for now, folks.
Thank you.